Yeah, Aramessi, you're right. Aramessi has a little bit of a penalty to strength and is still sitting on 19 starting strength. So
Yeah, so it's
that's
not
not.
going to play much in this seed, but it can make the difference sometimes, especially if you're starting in one that has a little lower starting strength. And our starting chests are
A fighter's ring because we need more attack power.
the herb, which is actually quite useful to have, and of course the magic key to get us out of the throne room.
Yes, we had strength and HP for days. The king is like, here, take some more strength and take some more HP. Why not? And yeah, one of the other things you noticed too is we played a bunch of these league week races, weeks 1 through 3 had no keys required. But we do have keys required here, so you see all our runners did have to use that key. They'll be searching for a Molder to restock their keys, or maybe trying to find a key in a treasure chest, as a couple of runners have found a cave off to the east.
Yeah, Viralis is getting sent home about a step away from that cave, Droll guarding it pretty well. And then scorpions across the rest of our screens. Let's see how they handle those. Looks like Aramessi took out his, as did Monsieur Slime and Diabetes.
Yeah, they both took out a scorpion, and it looked like level 2 was kind of uninteresting, really, but still they got good experience. They're only 1 experience away from level 3 with their scorpion. Ooh, and Monsieur getting an excellent move on another scorpion. A little bit of overkill, but Monsieur and Aramessi pick up their second scorpion kills. Diabetes right on their tail. All of them on level 3.
And Viralis takes out the Magician to get level 2. He should be thinking it's about time to take on that chameleon humanoid. I mean, you can do it straight out 1-1-1, but, you know, level 2, with the stats they have, they should be able to push right on through there.
Yeah, but the chameleon humanoid is a jerk, which Frayless just found in that cave. Ooh,
Speaking
that
of jerks,
is a jerk, yeah.
Yeah, Axe Knight sending Viralis home. Meanwhile, level 4s for our other 3 runners. They are still content to grind in this desert. It's still giving decent experience for these low levels that they're at, but they will soon outgrow what these Zone 1 and 0 monsters can give.
Yeah, I kind of like the idea here for Monsieur and Aramessi to sit on these scorpions for a bit. It's only up to 82 experience for level 5. After that, maybe the scorpions aren't such a great idea, but scorpions are pretty killable. Ooh, a Magician getting hurt on Aramessi, but he was low on resources anyway. So yeah, it definitely makes sense to sit here, get some levels. We don't have any healing at all, so still a little weak as Vrayless starts exploring and finds one of those werewolves to kind of prove the point.
Yeah, early exploration, it can get you, if you find a town really quick, it can certainly be worth it, or some other, you know, lucky sword in a box or something. But yeah, oftentimes it is a good idea to get a little grind on. Level 5 for Diabetes II and Monsieur Slime. Still nothing fantastic. I didn't catch... Oh, we've got Sleep and Repel, so no offensive spells to be seen.
Yeah, somewhat unsurprising, these levels have been giving Monsieur and Diabetes good agility and MP because, of course, they have that build. Strength and HP, they haven't really seen too much of those, but again, with their builds, they're kind of going for more agility and more MP, so they're getting what they signed up for.
And Viralis going down to a rogue scorpion. Somewhere to the south, it looks, is where he was exploring. And yeah, I see a town on Diabetes II screen.
Yeah, Diabetes has a town, and Monsieur Slime looks like he's hanging out looking for level 6 before he goes on, so we'll see if this town is something. Ooh, Drakeema's. Ooh, wizards. Yeah, neither one ended up really.
Yeah, hurt spells, and looks like they're just not quite running from them yet, with only 26 agility. You know, even wizards are hard to run from.
Yeah, we don't really want to see Charlock enemies right now. So Diabetes looks like he's gonna try to get his level 6 in this desert here, and same thing for Monsieur Slime. They're both pretty close. It's only a couple more Scorpions, so makes sense before they wander into the world. Vraylus is settling into a grind as well, backed up to level.
And just like that, we're all within a level of each other. Looks like Aramessi starting to poke out to the south there as well. See if he can't pick up some knowledge.
Ooh, and Monsieur picked up a nice level 6. Some good agility to help him run and help his defense. A lot of HP. Still no heal spells, though, and all we have to heal right now are just that one lone herb from the throne room. His Diabetes also gets his level 6. Aramessi making sure to validate the seed by searching that Spark over bridge, and he also has that town. Diabetes couldn't get to it. Let's see if Aramessi can. This werewolf is not interested in letting him get there, but both Diabetes and Aramessi have seen that town, so I'm sure they'll make for it.
Meanwhile, Monsieur Slime has found Charlock Castle. Looks like off to the left. Diabetes II pops in and out of Hawksness. Not quite ready to deal with us on that spike tile, but definitely knowing that it's there, especially if a grind is necessary later on, he might find his way back.
Oh, Monsieur Slime trying to use his Sword of Lethargy down there in that corner, and the Wraith Knight not interested in letting him. Yeah, but of course, you see a town, you die on the way there, and you're thinking, oh man, I need to get to this town, this is going to be a game changer, and every single time it's Hawksness. So Diabetes and Monsieur Slime have gotten the, for now, bad news, and Aramessi is about to get theirs. The starting
exploit runners are looking for, in particular, is, of course, the Swamp Cave. I mean, Charlock was found. We definitely need that, but the intermediary step is to rescue the princess. So the Swamp Cave is where the princess is housed. There's 2 entrances to the cave on the map somewhere. One might lead to a separate island, or it could be one giant continent where both the caves are on the single landmass. So that's kind of what they're keeping their eye open for, as well as things to help them along the way, such as Erdrick's armor, the sword. The fairy flute could also be quite useful. I do spot a Spark over bridge on Diabetes II seed screen. Let's see if he goes and validates that.
Yeah, I was going to say, the starting exploration has kind of been a little trolly here. Our runners had a cave off to the east, and it turned out to be the Jerk Cave, which, because Charlock's open, we will not ever need. There's a town nearby, but it's Hawksness, so the only good news is that Diabetes took a little bit of time to find that cave to the east. He just never saw it until actually just a few seconds ago, and so I'm sure he was breathing a sigh of relief that it was just Jerk Cave. Certainly could imagine if you miss the cave quick, that it's right near the castle, and there's some sort of like armor or sword, you can imagine being way far behind, but he gets the sort of good news that that cave is useless, so no big deal, it took him a while to find it. Meanwhile, Monsieur Slime's got the other useless cave, the Harp Cave, so we're doing really good on our useless locations.
We've got Jerk and other Jerk. Meanwhile, this does open up for Monsieur Slime as the bridge leads to yet some more landmass. There could be something on this, and this is also opening up to be quite another large island. Of course, the desert tiles means high encounter rate, and Charlock monsters aren't what he wants to see there.
Yeah, that had swamp, that had desert, that had armored knights. No part of that's what he was interested in, so looks like Aramessi also spots Charlock up there, gets sent home by a golem, but at least knows where Charlock is.
A vital piece of information indeed.
I think Angel's challenging me to some pronunciation thing. I don't even know. That's not even a real word there, Angel. Padakowie. Yeah, that's naughty. That's a made-up word, I think.
It's Pedequia.
What chimnea?
Well, you know, if you play the Famicom version of Dragon Quest IV, it's I believe it's Padekia. So, if that you know, breeds any answer to it.
As our runners are picking up a little more experience here. Diabetes actually coming close to level 7 before that droll is unkindly sends him home. Taking a look at one of the other sort of cosmetic features of Randomizer, the sprites here. Angel mentioned earlier there was no Alina sprite, so it should be a reroll. In fact, I don't think we have any Dragon Warrior 4 sprites, unless you count the Metal Slime, which kind of feels like cheating, but...
And, well, I don't think there are any Metal Slime sprites in Dragon Warrior 4. There are Blue Slime sprites. But the Metal Slime itself is just a monster you can fight. So, yeah, I don't think we can count that. So, interesting that there would be no Dragon Warrior 4 in this Dragon Warrior 4 player race.
Yeah, but what happens if...
Passing the Sparko tile again. Sorry, Ragai, go ahead.
I was just wondering, what happens if Monster Slime finds a Metal Slime? Like, what do they do? Do they just, like, hug it out? Do they, like, attack each other? What's the... I don't know, how does...
Question mark, exclamation point, the slimes. That's what should happen, I think.
Ooh, King Metal. Diabetes with an interesting strategy here, throwing the repel up. He got heal more off level 7, and I guess he decides that it's time to do some exploring. He's not interested in picking up any more experience, so he's got heal more. It's going to help him with his exploration a lot. He got a big boost to agility too there. So even though he doesn't have any armor of any sort, his defense power is at least not 0. And heal more, a lot of MP will help him search the countryside here.
He's also probably trying to ward off some of the weaker enemies, and, he'd probably be happy to see something more in the middle tiers, which, if they turn up, well, we'll see. Certainly doesn't want that rogue scorpion. Meanwhile, Viralis is putting a Wraith Knight to sleep, trying to pick up some big experience.
Yeah, I appreciate the attempts. As a Sword of Lethargy fan, I definitely appreciate the attempts, but only rolling 3 on him, we're going to need a lot of sleep luck to get this Wraith Knight down.
Interestingly, that Wraith Knight practically is a Necrodane predecessor character sprite or character figure there. And of course that Necrodane does wave the Sword of Lethargy as a monster in Dragon Warrior 4, so an apt observation, indeed.
Ooh, Rayless going for the repel as well, so he wants to explore, which makes sense, but of course we know that all our runners want to get up to 337 experience as soon as possible to get that heal more. We know that, they don't, but that's going to be the big one for our other 3 runners here, to try to get level 7 and get that important spell.
Yes, with the heal more, it allows quite a bit more exploration, as you're able to obviously replenish your health. You can walk through swamp tiles and hopefully find that next thing to get you ever so closer to, I don't know, is it Mr. Roper or is it Mr. Furley that's down at the bottom of Charlotte Castle?
Everyone's knocking on their door. This is all I've learned about Three's Company.
Yeah.
Ooh,
actually, I think it would have to be Furley down there. I think he was the more swinging guy. Roper would be very against it.
Yeah, I used up the landlord rent thing last night, not knowing what I was talking about. That was the one piece of knowledge that I picked up tonight about the theme song. I'm out. And speaking of out, Monsieur Slime goes through the swamp, finds a Brecconary. They have a silver shield, but a Brecken.
Chainmail is also not a unwelcome sight. He did have just enough money to purchase it, so when I hop into a town, I am happy if I'm naked to find something that allows me to maximize my earnings so far.
Well, I don't have too much experience hopping into towns naked, but yeah, I mean, all things considered, Brecconary, you kind of are like, not exactly my first choice. There are plenty of other but yeah, the 10 defense power is certainly welcome, and Monsieur Slime got a refill, so he can continue exploring now with all his heal mores back. So it served a purpose, but still, On the list of towns he was hoping to see, I doubt that was at the top of the list.
Yeah. But I mean, you got to remember, I'm a Ragnar main, so I'm very used to going into towns naked, walking out of towns naked, getting naked and running out of towns is the thing that Ragnars do.
Don't Ragnars put wooden hats on?
Yes, and then they talk to children and take off all their clothes. It's very, very disturbing.
Oh man, alright, well Diabetes has found a very important town, the town that probably was on the top of Monsieur Slime's list, a town much more exciting than Breckenridge. He has found Remulder and he has found keys, so Diabetes the second has got his keys. Remulder in a cute little spot by the coast. He's gonna check out the inn treasure chest, I'm sure, maybe even check out the shop. Doesn't have any money, but might want the knowledge of what's in the shop, but we'll see what's in this chest here.
You use 2 keys to get 1 key. It is, of course, the famous alchemist recipe to create something out of more of that same thing.
Ooh, we get a chance to see if Diabetes wants to do... Oh, no bamboo pole strats tonight. Bummer. Ooh, Rayless has found a cave over there. Ooh, and his cave has a red dragon. Ooh, he runs from the red dragon, though, so he's back.
It was a very lucky run by Veralis there. A werewolf also in there, so this cave is chock full of monsters. I've still not caught what it is. Were you able to catch the movements from that, Ragai?
I'm guessing mountain, but yeah, it's kind of hard to tell with all these. Ooh, Rayless using this sort of lethargy/sleep to take that, to get away from that werewolf. Very nice.
Absolutely, sword strats are very, very useful all throughout your adventure. You can take down pretty much any boss you want just by knocking them to sleep, running away, chopping them down, whatever you gotta do.
Whoops, so correction there, Rayless found the grave, and at the top of the grave, ooh, red dragon. Ooh, but red dragons have hurt. That is welcome information.
And a lucky crit, 24 damage, though, on a critical hit is not quite the news you want to see, as the Red Dragon sends Rayless back to Tantagel Castle.
Yeah, and actually, Rayless, I'm sure, will be a little sad that there was nothing on the top of that grave there. There was some money, there was a death necklace, and it's like an herb or something. I can't imagine the death necklace ever being used, so he tiptoed around all those red dragons and werewolves and Sharlock enemies, and for his troubles was rewarded with, I don't know, an herb. And on the top of our screens there, Aramessi has gotten the Breckenary news, and so has Diabetes, so they both know the location of Breckenary anyway. But Diabetes still the only one has found Remulder and has key.
They are opting to top off their resources at the end before venturing out again to continue their exploration. So far our paths have pretty much followed the same direction. Veralis has seen a few things that we others haven't, but has sacrificed a little bit in his experience in leveling. Still not seeing that precious Heal More spell yet. Oh wait, he did just get that, my mistake, and is going straight for a cave. And this one appears to be the mountain.
Yeah, Aramessi, I think that was just to the east of Hawksnest, so I think our runners must have passed it a whole bunch and maybe just missed it by a screen or something, but yeah, Aramessi and Mountain Cave, and I think Rayless followed him right in. Oh, Monsieur Slime picked up a key somewhere apparently and just raided the treasure.
Yeah, and I missed what was in there, actually.
It looked somewhat uninteresting.
Magic key Aramessi finds in the mountain cave.
Yeah, so that's big for Aramessi because he has not found Remulder yet, and now will not need to. This red dragon's gonna be a problem, but if Mountain Cave is as close as I thought it was to the castle, Aramessi can come back here and clear this again.
And of course, he does have money. If he does get sent back, he can use that key to open the door. Oh, but he gets away from the dragon and is able to continue his exploration. He'll make his way to the next couple chests here in just a moment.
And this is where heal more is useful too. Like with heal more, you can heal yourself, obviously, get more run attempts, so that's good. Wow, Mountain Cave is kind of up empty.
We're making our way to the very final chest in the Mountain Cave. Magician blocking the way. And a red dragon.
Yeah, only one of those is truly blocking the way, but yeah, this red dragon. Hopefully our Messi get around it. It always is always really annoying to leave one chest behind. Again, the combination of heal more and the red dragon having hurt is going to give him a really good chance to get away eventually.
It's just a matter of whether he can outrace the damage that the dragon is putting out. Meanwhile, Viralis also poking around in the dark, hasn't been sent out. And I'm not sure where Diabetes is. Is he also in the Mountain Cave?
Yeah, Diabetes found Mountain as well. Aramessi finishes up the cave and gets a second key. We'll probably look to Death Orb. Now, I mentioned the treasury was uninteresting. The treasury did have a whole bunch of gold in it. So Aramessi could potentially set up a gold grind. The only problem with that is that all of our towns are kind of far away. They do have heal more though, so maybe they want to try a gold grind and haul that gold over to maybe Brecconary for a silver shield or something like that. So we'll see what Aramessi decides to do with this Death Orb and key setup.
Yeah, with Brecconary having that silver shield, I wouldn't be surprised at all if we do see a gold grind. In fact, that's immediately the very first thing that we see. So we'll be picking up that gold, and he'll be there for quite a bit. We're going up to 14,800 most likely, as that is the cost of a silver shield. I don't think there was a flame sword or a magic armor in any of the shops that we've seen so far. Meanwhile, Monsieur Slime picking up, it looks like, some herbs in Brecconary, or rather some keys in Remoldar, rather.
Well, as a slight correction, we did technically see a flame sword in Remoldar, but Aramessi has not seen Remoldar yet, so Aramessi has not seen a flame sword. So yeah, you're right, I'd expect him to go to maybe 14.8 for the silver shield, maybe pick up like some broadsword money and carry that around looking for a broadsword somewhere.
I think there was a large shield as well, so we might see another 800 come up.
So a couple things to watch for here is Aramessi does this gold grind, and Diabetes has it set up as well. The silver shield is useful for a couple reasons. Of course, it'll give you plus 20 defense. It's the best shield in the game, so that's pretty good. It doesn't get replaced either. Things like the flame sword or the magic armor, you eventually, maybe, find Erdrick's sword and Erdrick's armor, and then those go by the wayside. But the silver shield, you keep the entire game. There's nothing better in the game than it. And with this flag set, all of our flag sets in this randomizer league, Repellent Dungeons is activated, which means if you can get your defense high enough, where you start breaking defense-breaking Sharlock enemies, that's 80 plus defense, you'll get less encounters in Sharlock, and that can help you get to the bottom a lot faster if you don't have to deal with those pesky encounters. So another benefit to the Silver Shield. Speaking of equipment, since our runners are gold grinding and looking ahead to get equipment, ooh, Aramessi is going all the way up, isn't he? Braylon's about to check out the back too. One thing to be interesting here, we've seen both Mountain Cave and the top of Grave. We haven't seen the bottom of Grave yet. We've seen the Treasury. We've seen, Swamp Cave is under Tantegel, so Princess is easy to rescue. The armor is still missing, and we've seen in these seeds that you don't technically need the armor to win. The armor makes the dive a lot easier, of course, but you don't really need the armor to win. So it'll be very interesting to see which of our runners decide to just forget you armor and let's just grind, and which runners put forth that effort to that time to go get the armor and to see which strategy ends up prevailing. Because you never really know if you're going to need the armor or not, so it's always a risk if you go without the armor, but it's definitely possible.
Yes, that armor can certainly be helpful. Of course, the armor giving you a massive boost to your defense. It also lowers the damage that comes from the Dragon Lord 2 breath, as well as all hurt more spells by like about half, as well as making you immune to the stop spell, and healing you 1 hit point for every step that you take. So having the armor certainly is a massive boon, but it can be literally in any of the chests or searchable areas, including within Sharlock itself. So going out and finding it, if it's not just readily available and not stumbling upon it, can eat up a lot of time in the game and exploration that if you are able to, just get there and finish those 2 spike tile enemies, it's definitely an important decision that comes up in a lot of the seeds, or in this particular flag set, rather.
So Monsieur Slime went through Swamp Cave, Garanham was on the other side, 3 treasure chests in the back of Garanham, which are neither the sword or the armor, so those are still missing. Monsieur Slime apparently uninterested in the back, or he's going to go get maybe a large shield or something. The cave in the back, there is still 1 cave of interest. The tablet cave has 1 chest in it, so that could be an armor or sword maybe. But this is looking like we might want to go find some search spots possibly.
Yes, well, I mean, they need Cole or Cantlin in order to get the search spots. Cole has, of course, 1 search spot in it. There is the Tile in Hawksness, which they are probably close to being able, if not with the Heal More spell, being able to defeat a Sharlock enemy. Attack power is, I'm not seeing it right now. Well, I see a Flame Sword on Diabetes, so certainly Hawksness is an option for him.
Yeah, I'm interested to see how this is going to play out for Diabetes and Aramessi. They both gold grinded to the full amount. Full amount you would need for Silver Shield, Flame Sword, and Magic Armor. But then they both went through Swamp Cave, and they didn't know it was going to be on the other side. They did find Garanham, and Diabetes sort of, I want to say, lucked out there was a Flame Sword there. I think personally I would have taken that gold straight to where you know that Silver Shield is. Of course, there was no Flame Sword there, so we'll see if the attack ends up being better than the Silver Shield defense would have been.
Of course, if were me running, I would most certainly, immediately after getting that Flame Sword, pick up Erdrick's Sword in a chest. Because that's just how I play the game.
I was about to say, Diabetes in the Tablet Cave is like super likely to find the sword. Yeah, I find if you ever want to find Erdrick's armor, the best thing you can do is just buy the magic armor, because then the game will be like, oh, did you just buy the magic armor? Haha, sucker, here you go. Yeah, you got me good, Randomizer, got me.
Meanwhile, Horalis hitting the gold grind in Tantagel Castle. Looks like he's also going up for pretty much everything money can buy. And we find the bonus cave on Monsieur Slime's screen with Erdrick's Herb.
So again, very interesting to see if anyone decides to gamble on the bottom of the grave, hoping to find Erdrick stuff there. Who goes, like you said, to check out the Hawksness spot. I'm wondering, too, if maybe Monsieur Slime might be onto something here. Maybe Cole is on this swamp continent somewhere, and maybe he's off to, oh, hey, look, it's a town. Oh, hey, look, it's Cole.
And we'll find what's just south of that rheumatoid arthritis spa, rheumatism rather. The flute, which can actually be very, very useful. The flute, of course, puts a golem to sleep. Golems have a high likelihood of being the monsters that we will see in Sharlock, as well as a possibility of being one of the spike tile monsters that they'll have to fight to get their progression item. That being the princess.
Yeah, and Diabetes right behind, and he's going to get himself a Silver Shield and Coal, so no armor there, but he gets a Silver Shield and Full Plate, which will work out pretty well.
And so now, pretty much the only place left to search, of course, is the place with the highest density of chests, and that is Esterk's Palace. There would be 7 chests for them to find there, 6 of which they'll be able to get right off the beginning, and then one that is kind of tucked away and hidden deeper into the palace.
So as another point too, since we just saw Cole, in Dragon Warrior 1, the search spot is 4 steps south of the baths. In Dragon Warrior 3, it's 5. How many steps away does that make it 4? Can we run like some sort of regression on that and figure out how many steps away it is in 4? I'm very confused with the whole thing.
I stopped stats like right before regression analysis, so you're asking the wrong guy. We do see another spark over tile on Aramessi's screen. I don't know. It doesn't look like he's going to be making his way to validate that one, though.
With all due respect to any statisticians, I think regression is basically make up a number and call out the answer. Anyway, Centroid asking if anyone cleared out the grave. No one has cleared out the bottom of the grave yet. Rayless has seen the top 3. I'm not sure other runners have even seen the top 3 in the grave, but Rayless has seen the top 3, but not the bottom 2. So as far as armor and sword, we've got the bottom 2 in grave. We've got Hawksness. We have the Overworld Search Bot. Coordinates given to you in Cantlin, which no one has seen yet. And I think that's it. I think it's just Sharlock after that.
So I think that pretty much makes it about 50-50, being either Sharlock or on, pre-Sharlock.
Yeah, the funny thing about these seeds too is our runners go and start checking the search spots and such, maybe look at the coordinates or whatever. They're actually probably not going to want to see the sword at this point, right? I mean, they have Diabetes and Brayless have gold ground for the flame sword. That's probably good enough to get you to the bottom, good enough to get you through the spike tiles. They'd much prefer the armor at this point over the sword. And I guess if you find the sword, you obviously take it, you don't give it back. But when you see Airdrakes start popping up, you're hoping for armor to follow it, not really sword.
Yeah, an early sword can certainly be a game changer, but the further and further the seed goes along with it without it turning up. And Varela's searching the Spark Over tile. Had to call that out real quick. But yeah, as the seed goes further, you really do lean more towards wanting that armor, as the sword kind of has diminishing value as time goes on.
Yeah, most of the value of the sword in our regular seeds is to help you beat the Dragon Lord, but we don't have to do that here. All of our gold grinders, Diabetes, Aramessi, and Brayless, managed to pick up... Oh, I'm sorry, Aramessi has not picked up the silver yet, has he? Oh, no, he did. He just had a lot more money than the other 2 did. So all of our gold grinders did manage to pick up the silver shield despite going through swamp. So they got both the silver shield and flame sword. So going through swamp worked out for all of them. The other thing to pay attention to here is Monsieur Slime is the only one who has not done or not been able to do a gold grind. So no equipment there. No fancy equipment anyway.
Meanwhile, Diabetes II has eked out a bit of an experience lead well into level 9. Meanwhile, Aramessi and Monsieur Slime trailing at 8 and Boralis at 7. Monsieur Slime is close to level 9, but we'll see if that experience advantage, if Diabetes will be able to maintain that while searching and finding that one level that they need to dive.
Yeah, that's what I'm kind of interested in here. This is where I think we're going to see a lot of divergence. We don't really have to go search for anything else. The stats are not that far away from being able to beat a spike tile enemy. In fact, we see Diabetes beating a stone man and picking up the princess. I wonder if he's thinking about taking a chance on Sharlock here. But you don't need the armor to win. You just have to make it to the bottom. And with Healmore, with all the gear that Diabetes has all of a sudden, he might be able to make it to the bottom here with no more grinding required.
Right, full plate silver shield and a flame sword is not bad equipment to have. The only major obstacle, obviously, is having to walk through those barrier tiles to get to the first basement of Sharlock Castle. I have been jumped many a time after walking through those while at low health and sent out. So it does pose a risk not having Erdrick's armor, but it'll be interesting to see. Hopefully, we'll find out what happens.
Yeah, Erdrick's armor, without Erdrick's armor, you basically have to burn 2 heal mores, go with those barrier tiles. And you have to worry about what if I get an encounter while I have like 4 HP or whatever. What I like about this from Diabetes' side, though, is that it is a risk, but it's a very low risk because the princess is close to the castle. Sharlock is close to the castle, so you die, whatever. But he's going to get a chance to get some information at the very least. He's going to know what the zones are, what enemies are in what zones. He's seen the red dragon, and he's seen the red dragon has hurt. So the red dragon is actually not all that scary. Even if this dive doesn't succeed, he's going to get a whole bunch of information. Obviously, if he gets to the bottom, we're donezo. So I kind of like this play here to get some information and have the princess in tow just in case. Everything's close by, so like, what do you have to lose? Rayless on a stone man as well.
And is this the stone man in the swamp cave?
Messi finding the grave, so gonna be excited to check the top 3 there, and see nothing. So we'll see if Messi goes to the bottom. It does look like that was the stoneman in the grave, and Rayless has a princess in tow as well. Diabetes is gonna take the princess to Hawksness in a rarely seen move. I like.
Yes, offering her up as a sacrifice, tossing her into the litter for the red dragon with hurt. This actually, this can be very good for Diabetes, particularly if there is an armor sitting underneath this red dragon.
Yeah, the Flame Sword is going to let him do a little bit of damage. He's got really good defense with that full plate and silver shield. If he can get this dragon out, not only get the search spot underneath, but he's also going to pick up level 10. And so if he had ideas of 9 being enough, he's probably going to like his chances on 10.
And this red dragon is particularly grindable. As you can see, he's not really burned through too much of his MP so far. Although with that big 38-point hit, though.
It's grindable. He has a princess in tow, so I doubt he'd grind it now. Oh, and there's the end. He has stop spell, though. No, he doesn't. Never mind. Yeah, that's the end of the grind.
Yep. Red dragons with heal more, just when you thought you had made your way through.
Again, that's not a big deal for the dive, though, because you don't particularly need to kill them on the dive. It'd be very annoying if that was the spike tail enemy in Sharlock, though. But as far as encountering them inside of Sharlock, not.
Yeah, as you most likely would be running from them, not attacking. Yeah.
Yeah, I still like the idea for Diabetes to dive. Maybe even fight some stuff on the way down. At least pick up 10 on the way down. He's only 69 experience away from level 10. So maybe pick up level 10 on the way and get some information at least. Like I said, if you luck into the bottom floor, you just throw the Princess of the Dragon Lord and call it.
Absolutely. Meanwhile, Veralis makes his way out and is also replenishing his resources, his magic points.
Very interesting how all of our runners kind of have the same idea. Monsieur Slime also in that swamp cave thinking about a princess rescue. Aramessi is checking the bottom of the grave, runs away from an armored knight, and we'll see what's underneath the grave. So if the armor's down here, that could be a game changer for Aramessi.
Absolutely. Aramessi opting for the furthered exploration, kind of leaning on that overworld and kind of non-Sharlock side of the coin for where that armor might be. Of course, with every opened chest. Yes, sir? What was that?
Was that Cantlin that we spied as Vrayless wandered into Sharlock? Was that Cantlin across the way from Sharlock, looking like it was on a little spark over tile swamp?
I did not catch it, but I will keep my eye open the next time I see one of our runners going into Sharlock. Meanwhile, double fairy flutes on Diabetes II and Veralis' screens.
Yeah, it kind of looks like I doubt we would see Cantlin ever because it looks like our runners kind of have ideas that the armor's not really that important. They're all grabbing princesses and going into Sharlock or searching the grave for armor. So I don't think anyone's got the coordinates in mind really, but that looked like it was a very funny location for.
So far on our Sharlock monsters, we haven't really seen anything particularly nasty. Our runners have fairy flutes to deal with the golems. Red dragons, as we've seen, are pushovers. We've seen werewolves, which I don't think had anything particularly horrible, just their regular attacks. Have we seen anything else?
Not really, but as CD points out in chat, there's not a whole lot of MP. That's the real big issue for both Diabetes and Brayless on this dive. Diabetes with 7 heal mores and had to use 2 on the had to use a few on the barrier tiles. Brayless only with 6. You have to get to the bottom. You still have to beat a spike tile enemy, so you want to have some resources for that. Yeah, the MP is going to be tight, but again, each one of them getting some information, some valuable information about Sharlock. And if you luck into the bottom floor, you just gotta go.
Well, we are seeing quite a bit of golems on these top 2 floors, which they are actually looking forward to because, again, golems, I mean, you have to spend the time on the fairy flute, but they are pretty much a free run. So not having to waste a whole lot of MP, but we are now in a new zone, so we'll see what monsters turn up here. Bralis getting back attacked by a green dragon. We also have blues.
Yeah, green dragons, blue dragons. I think I spied a wizard with hurt. It's not too scary so far.
So far, a rather tame Sharlock. This could be very heads up of all of our runners who have decided to just grab that princess and go, which, again, everybody who's dived kind of chose to go that route. Might get pleasantly surprised.
Yeah, this is the part where it's really interesting, though, because Aramessi's about to check this last chest. Ooh, it's empty. If that had been the armor, that would have been a really interesting finish we had here. Diabetes and Brayless, again, they do have low MP, but this is really going to hinge on what's on that spike tile. If they can make it to the bottom, that spike tile is going to be very, very important.
As they both escape from their blue dragons, Diabetes II gets attacked by a wizard. Meanwhile, Viralis sneaks his way down to the next level. We're in the big U-shaped room. I believe this is yet another zone.
So Aramessi, while exploring the grave, picked up level 10, which has lots of strength, lots of agility, and lots of MP. So Aramessi looking really good on the agility side of things. If Aramessi casts Repel, Aramessi would be repelling all wizards and almost repelling Star Wyverns and werewolves. So again, if these dives don't work out for Diabetes and Brayless, some extra stats for Aramessi to maybe try it.
Meanwhile, Viralis does make it to the bottom of Sharlock. We do see Werewolf there, and we'll find out if he goes for the treasury, which I certainly would. And yes, he is going to, so take out your bets to see where in the pyramid we land, if
Remember,
anything.
Might
Sword.
not be there. The armor might not be there.
Erdrick's torch. Gold. An herb. Another torch.
Yeah, I think I like Diabetes here going straight for it. You're here. I mean, I guess if you have to redive, the armor would have helped if it had been in the treasury. But Diabetes looks like he's just going for a game here. He does have 34 MP. You think that's enough for a spike tile as long as it's not something really evil?
If it's not something really evil, I mean, absolutely. I mean, short of a DL2 breath, we haven't seen. I mean, we've seen all the monsters. We haven't seen anything horrible. So,
Well,
this could be heads up. It is the red dragon with Healmore.
Yeah, that's the problem. We can't beat a red dragon with Healmore. Rayless with the sword will have a little better chance, but even with the sword, I don't think we can do much against that Healmore that he's. Which suddenly swings this back in Aramessi's favor, because Aramessi is going to have more levels, more stats, much better chance of picking up the red dragon kill, maybe even picking up stop spell, which would make the red dragon pretty
Absolutely. Especially with the sword being down there, just adding to Aramessi's stats. But first has to pick up the princess, so we'll see how that works out. Monsieur Slime also at level 10. Diabetes opting to grind right here in Charlock, while the werewolf sends him home. Looks like werewolf with sleep.
Yeah, I'm not sure if Rayless knows about the heal more yet. Maybe the other thing that might happen is maybe that red dragon's only 25% heal more. Maybe Rayless will never even see it. But we'll have to look and see if Rayless down does last heal more after.
And he gets the news.
Yep, Rayless gets the news.
At this point, do you hope to land a lucky sleep?
I mean, you could try it. We're not really very. Yeah, you can see Rayless is unhappy with this situation.
Rayless opting to try to manipulate a critical hit, and doesn't quite work for him. Command.
I like your idea of sleep. I could see swinging a couple times. Ooh, swung a little too much, though. You don't want to put him to sleep too early. You got to get him low on HP because he's probably only going to stay asleep for a couple turns. And we can't exactly 2 or 3 shot a red dragon. So maybe take a couple attacks, take a sleep, and hope he stays asleep and you can cut through him. But, ooh, not going to work out for Rayless.
Well, Rayless getting sent back to Tantagel Castle. Of course, if you have the princess in hand and you get defeated by a monster, the princess goes back to where she was hiding, so you will have to pick her up again. Diabetes has made his way back to... No! Goes across Rayless' screen. Diabetes has made his way back to Garanham to restock on herbs. Of course, having herbs helps a lot with that dive as well, so that you don't have to spend as much of your heal more magic healing up. Especially if you just take like one hit, it's not as efficient to spend a whole heal more just to go up 20 or 30 health.
Yeah, so this is going to be... We'll have to see how Diabetes and Rayless use this information, because Aramessi and Monsieur Slime have of course, taken the experience lead, while Diabetes and Rayless were attempting their dives. But Aramessi and Monsieur Slime have no idea about that red dragon on the spike tile, so... we'll see what happens here. I kind of feel like if you're Diabetes or Rayless, you need to grind for Stop Spell maybe, or just ridiculous amounts of strength. Rayless has that sword, so that's helpful. Did Diabetes pick it up too?
I don't think Diabetes did. Diabetes made a beeline for the for the spike tile, and then grinded and got sent home by a werewolf. So the sword is actually still waiting for him, and he doesn't know that it's there, actually.
Okay, so levels 9 and 10 just had a whole bunch of strength, which is making it look like he has the sword. But yeah, it looks like you're going to have to grind to get a whole bunch of strength to the point where you can maybe 2 or 3 shot a red dragon. I don't know if that's going to happen. Or you just have to grind for Stop Spell, because that heal more is going to throw a major wrench into any sort of plans you might have.
Absolutely. So we'll see how our runners deal with that. Of course, Diabetes II, the only one that went to Hawksness, so the only one pre-Charlock dive that had any knowledge of what a red dragon was. And he did just nope right out of that fight when he saw it, and opted to grind what he could and do just that, get himself some level. Of course, he has picked up the princess yet again, so we'll see if he makes another dive. I'm kind of would be surprised if he does. Unless he wants to know what's in that treasury.
Yeah, I'm kind of curious to see what his plan is here, too. You can, I guess, go to the treasury and get... I guess you might as well take the princess if you're going to get to the treasury, I guess, is the thinking. But I don't know that he has the ability to kill that red dragon or get past that red dragon's heal more precisely.
Unless his plan is to grind Charlock monsters on the way down. Yeah, well, it'd be interesting to see what happens.
And as Wiz's Eye saying in chat, Yeah, there's no guarantee that Stop Spell will land at all. Tilo's saying it's going to cap at, I believe, 12 out of 16. That sounds sort of correct. It might be hard to land a Stop Spell on the Red Dragon, but remember, the Red Dragon does have Hurt, so we'll have some time. Also, there's not many more options against Teal'Mor, unless you, again, want, like you were saying, Vale, want to put him to sleep and hope he stays asleep for a couple turns so you can slash him to death. But, I mean, Stop Spells kind of are one big option here.
Short of picking up massive amounts of strength on a level to be able to out damage it, that's pretty much it. Yeah.
Oh no, has Rayless seen the spike tile yet? I think you're gonna get another no across the screen if he hasn't.
I don't think he has. Again, I believe Diabetes was the only one to actually go into Hawksness, and Varelus is not going to find out as the Blue Dragon sends him back home.
Yeah, so all of a sudden things are actually looking up for Monsieur Slime. He's got a nice experience lead. He's on level 11. He just doesn't have that knowledge about the spike tile though. So we'll see. We'll see if the spike tile trips him up like it's tripped up Diabetes and Rayless, and probably will trip up Aramessi.
And Monsieur Slime raiding the mountain cave. Not going to find really anything of interest in here, but at least checking off that knowledge for himself, and he'll know that what he's looking for isn't here.
Yeah, the one thing that Aramessi will have going for him is that with level 11, there was a nice little strength boost there. 105 attack power with just the flame sword, so if he goes to pick up the sword, which he might not, he might just go straight for game because there's lots of mini-bosses he can just trounce. Not the Red Dragon, unfortunately. He would pick up an extra 12 attack power. He'd be looking at 117 attack power. And you'd have to think that 117, maybe you might be able to make some sort of sleep strat work with little sleep luck or something like that. So possible he could get by with that higher strength score. Possible.
Meanwhile, Viralis hits the critical attack on the Red Dragon, but it's not enough to take it down. The Red Dragon casts Heal More, and we see the nose flashing across his screen.
Oh, well, Monsieur Slime is at least getting the information about the Red Dragons having Heal More. He doesn't know that they're on the spike tile in Charlock, but when he sees it, he'll know that he's got to do something about that Heal More.
And so Red Dragon sending both Monsieur Slime and Viralis home within about 30 seconds of each other from different locations.
Yeah, Tilo mentioning that weird location of Cantlin. I doubt we're gonna see anyone go for Cantlin. Diabetes and Brayless both made it down to the spike tile relatively easily without the armor. Charlock wasn't all that bad. The enemy set in Charlock wasn't all that bad, except for that mini boss as being kind of a.
So the Red Dragons, of course, they are high. I would almost say 50 or 75% of hurt. And then they do have Heal More once they get down low health. And our runners just don't quite have the strength to knock them down, nor do they have the Stop Spell. So Red Dragons on the way to the spike tile are no problem, but being able to actually beat one has proven impossible so far.
Yeah, like I said, Aramessi, he does have a lot of attack power, and we'll get more with the sword. Monsieur Slime is going through his gold grind as well right now, so he's gonna... I imagine he's gonna upgrade his gear and then go rescue the princess and attempt to dive himself. Being on level 11, they'll have more strength. Like I said, possibly they'll be able to make a sleep strat work, or if they get lucky and get a critical, that critical is gonna land for a lot more, might be enough.
Now, here's an interesting idea. What's 20% of 70, and would a death necklace actually help out in a situation like this?
Ooh, death necklace would be one heck of a risk, because if you die, you're gonna get kicked out of the castle, and our princess friend is under the castle. So you'd have to make a trip out to Breckenary, all the way out to Breckenary to get uncursed. and you'd lose the death necklace at that point. You could. Boy, that'd be rough, though. I mean, it's a real big gamble, and that red dragon's going to be hitting for a lot of your HP if you do that.
"56 HP is remaining HP," says chat. Which, I mean, you can survive one attack, so... Well, no, dragons with hurt, though. So, I mean, I could see, potentially with this particular red dragon... I don't know. The question is, would it push their attack high enough to actually outdo his heal more?
Yeah, that's the problem. Outdoing a heal more is rough. If it was a heal spell, we might be talking, of course, right? But a heal more spell, man, he's going almost to max every single time. You can't swing through that. You have to hope you kill him before he decides to use it, right? And
he uses it at a certain percentage of his health, and I'm sorry, I don't know the exact amount. But if you're able to do that much damage, I don't know. It would be going through my mind. Well, it is going through my mind, so I don't know. Maybe it's going through one of our runners' minds as well.
Archfield has a good point in chat too. There's that little bug, right? You can put it on the first turn of the fight and keep the HP. It's still risky though, because again, if you die, you have to go all the way out to Breckenary to get uncursed. You're not going to get it for a second try. I guess you'd have to, save before you do any sort of things. We haven't seen any of our runners pull a save yet.
I like this idea. That's kind of like glitching the hack. We've gone a whole meta level deeper.
As long as I don't get weird things showing up on the screen, like parentheses in the walls and stuff like that, I'm good with the.
Hey, if we could clip through the lake tiles and the wall tiles to just, like, walk 4 steps to the Dragon Lord, wouldn't you do it?
I don't know. You know it's in that water? No one's ever been in that water before. That might be worse than the Red Dragon.
It's Red Dragon's hot tub spa water.
Ugh.
It's sulfuric. We'll just leave it at that.
Diabetes. Diabetes is diving the grave now, looking for presumably an armor or sword, because you mentioned he did not check the treasury, so he does not know that the sword is there and the armor isn't.
Of course, Aramessi picking up Eredric's sword, bringing him up to 117 attack power. Yeah,
Monsieur Slime finishing off his gold grind. His gold grind purchasing, I should say. He's got all of his goodies, and I imagine he's going to be going for a Princess and a Dive as well.
Meanwhile, Aramessi failing to run from the Red Dragon and gets sent back to Tantagel Castle. So at this point, Viralis coming out with the princess.
Yeah, it's unfortunate for Aramessi too, because I don't think he made it to the spike tile, did he? So he didn't even get the information. I think that was just a random encounter Red Dragon, so he didn't even get the information what was on the spike tile.
That is correct. But going straight back into the swamp to get the princess. If at first you don't succeed, try again. Seems to be the mantra of all of our runners, as they have been pretty much all sent back a few times already in attempts to make it to the bottom and complete this Three's Company seed here.
Yeah, and you can't really blame him for diving, because if you're in Aramessi shoes, for example, you have 117 attack power, 85 defense, even 79 agility. You're thinking like, oh man, there's going to be no problem to get to the bottom, and it really isn't. He made it to the bottom. It was fine. The only thing holding back our runners is that one heal more spell. The Red Dragons, we were so happy they were spell happy at the beginning with hurt. Turned out they're hiding the real gatekeeper behind that with their heal more.
Meanwhile, Monsieur Slime getting his own critical hit fail, hitting for 81 damage just to be countered by a heal more spell. That's gotta hurt when that happens.
Yeah, although at 87 attack power, unless you've landed a couple hits, I don't think you're really expecting a first turn critical to take out a red dragon all the time. But yeah, it still is not a lot of fun when you get a critical and he still doesn't go down.
Diabetes second looks like he's about a little more than halfway through, maybe 3/4 through the dive in Charlock, as Viralis makes his way through the barrier tiles to behind the first throne, to the hidden staircase.
Oh, Diabetes is in grave picking up his empty. He's going to be very sad to see the empty. But I am kind of curious what Vralis's plan is here. He has, of course, seen the red dragon. He's seen the heal more. And he's going for another try at this. So we'll see. Maybe he has some sleep strats.
Could be. Definitely putting that golem to sleep. Again, beating him with the fairy flute, aka Sword of Lethargy.
Ah, the Flute of Lethargy. Very interesting what's happening on the right side of our screens here. Even though neither one has seen the spike tile boss at the bottom, it turns out they're both doing, I believe, the correct thing here. They're both very close to level 12. And I see Monsieur Slime and Aramessi taking on Stonemen, I would presumably say, to get level 12 at least, even if they're not going to do a prolonged grind. I mean, if 12 comes with Stop Spell, ooh, that would be a real big one for those two. They don't know it yet, I don't think, but that would be huge.
Yes, and 12 coming at 3,000 experience points, so a couple of Stonemen, and it's right there. Stonemen is a long fight, but a very winnable fight. Stonemen's, of course, being susceptible to the sleep spell.
Yeah, it's always one of those, like, you're kind of sad when you have to settle for a Stoneman grind, but our other grind tiles we've seen are those pesky red dragons, which are not going to be grindable, so at least it's a guaranteed encounter, and again, like you mentioned, they only need 2-3 Stonemen to get the next level, and I presume they're going to pick up the next level and go, as Monsieur Slime does get to over 3,000, Aramessi right behind him. They get a whole bunch of magic, and they get Stop Spell, though.
This very much could be the level, as Monsieur Slime goes to pick up the princess. Aramessi, with a heads-up play, went in and picked up the princess and then picked up a Stoneman on the way out. So already has the princess in hand, and is now making his way out of Swamp.
The funny thing about that level is that essentially points out a lot more MP. They've got, I don't know, somewhere around 35 heal mores or something like that. We'll call it 35. They don't know it yet, though. They look at that and they probably think like, oh, it's just Stop Spell. Gee, I wish it was Hurt More. Hurt More probably would help out with that. They're not gonna. They're gonna realize how important that Stop Spell was when they get to the bottom. They see that red.
Absolutely. I believe at this point, Diabetes is the only one that's seen the red dragon. Did Viralis catch it? I believe Viralis knows as well.
We got a no across the screen for him, yeah. I'm curious, too, with the Stop Spell, if either Aramessi or Monsieur Slime decide to go peek into Hawksness. They know that the red dragon has Hurt, they know the red dragon has Heal More, but they also have Stop Spell now, which should make that red dragon a piece of cake to take out. So I wonder if they go look for the armor in Hawksness before trying again, especially Aramessi, who's seen the treasury and knows there's no armor there.
We may also see one of them try to make their way to the vanilla search spot in Charlock, as that is also one of the remaining few places where the armor could be.
And as Centroid notes, Monsieur Slime's still going on this grind. The next level is 4125, so it's a few more of these Stonemen to go. And again, like I said, we know that Stop Spell is the key. They don't know. Aramessi and Monsieur Slime have not seen the final spike tile mini boss. They do not know that Stop Spell is the key. So that's why Monsieur Slime's continuing to grind. He has no information about Charlock, and for all he knows, it could be a horrible, evil, just disgusting Charlock, and he wants to pick up a safety level for that.
Meanwhile, Aramessi opting to go straight into Charlock Castle. So we will see how his dive goes, and we'll see how that Stop Spell works out for him, as, again, it is a fairly easy dive. Also, the added agility that he's picked up has him repelling more monsters along the way.
Yep, he's repelling Aramessi, now repelling the Star Wyvern and Werewolf in addition to the Wizard, so a few less encountered. Vraylus is getting kind of close here. Vraylus is checking the vanilla chest and not finding the armor, but Vraylus is getting kind of close to the bottom, and I wonder what the plan is.
So it looks like our armor does have to either be in Hawksness or in the Overworld search tile. I believe those are the only places that we have not found yet.
Oh, Diabetes picking up 12, and Diabetes does have the information about the Red Dragon. Diabetes does know that Stop Spell is key, and look at him go. He's going to make a play, go right for the Princess, and I imagine we're going to see him dive as fast as he possibly can into Shark. Vraylus apparently, I guess, looking for the armor in real life somewhere, as he's temporarily off.
We should have his stream back up momentarily, and we'll get you caught up just as soon as he does. Meanwhile, Diabetes II making his way out of the Swamp Cave, bumping into the Stone Man yet again.
Ooh,
Your slime still grinding.
A little bit of a setback for Diabetes. He'll have to go rescue the Princess again. That does give Aramessi a little bit of lead. Aramessi is on that Stone Man about to go get the Princess. Diabetes has to go back there. But again, Diabetes has the knowledge anyway about that Red Dragon being there, so we'll see if he can use that to slingshot his way back into the lead.
Meanwhile, Monsieur Slime is one Stone Man away. Spectre might do it to get him to level 13.
Yeah, I think he's just going to pick up the experience on random. There you go. He picked it up on the Spectre. And it is a pretty blech level. Look at this. We're going to have 3 runners all starting a Princess dive at almost the same time. Monsieur Slime, I'm sure, will give it a go. Again, he doesn't know the Red Dragon is there, but he has seen Red Dragons, knows about the Heal More, knows to use that stop spell. Aramessi, same thing, doesn't know a Red Dragon is there, but has seen them. And Diabetes has all the information he could want, just a couple of seconds behind the other two.
So at this point, it'll be really up to how nice Sharlock wants to play with our runners, what their encounter rate is. That variance alone can easily make the difference. But right now, Monsieur Slime with just the slight lead, again with Aramessi just seconds behind, and Diabetes just second behind that. We've got ourselves a very nice little horse race right at the end, folks, so we'll see how it finishes. Meanwhile, Viralis is on the Red Dragon spike tile.
Ooh,
battling that Heal More spell.
Just see him hit for 35. That's got to be one of his max rolls, and the Red Dragon counters with a heal. Looking at our 3 runners who are about to start their Sharlock dives, I think they all have a pretty good chance of getting there. It's probably more important as far as the standings go for Aramessi or Monsieur Slime to come up on top here. They're the ones that are out of the playoff picture looking in right now. They both could use the 5 points or at very least 3 points for second place. Diabetes currently in the playoff race. Obviously, he would like 5 points, but it's much more important. The 5 points, much more important for Aramessi and Monsieur Slime's position. So they're going to be really, really hustling to try to get this Princess to the bottom here.
And Aramessi and Monsieur Slime practically on top of each other. Again, Monsieur Slime just slightly ahead. An encounter, though, allows Aramessi to pretty much catch up.
Oh, Vraylus is doing a lot of damage to that Red Dragon, and the Red Dragon greeted him with Heal More. I wonder if Vraylus there maybe try to sleep. We have no idea if sleep would work or not. I wonder if he tried to sleep there. Maybe he could have snuck in an extra attack or 2 and gotten the Red Dragon, but again, we have no way of knowing if that would have worked or not.
And at this point, with his experience points where they are, I wouldn't be surprised if he does go for level 12. Might feel another no across the screen when we see that stop spell come up. But we'll see how that goes for him.
Yeah, he's actually going to pick up level 12, just killing the Stoneman, trying to get the Princess. So he will have level 12. He'll get his stop spell, and he'll be on his way as well. Oh, look at the top there. I believe Diabetes just put a death necklace on. I wonder if that was a mismenu because he was going for the fair.
Oh, Death Necklace. So, for those of us who are uninitiated, the Death Necklace in the Dragon Warrior Randomizer, what it does is it reduces your maximum hit points by, I believe it's 20%, and it increases your attack power by 10. So you get a little bit more of a swing out of it at the sacrifice of some of your health.
Wow, we had Aramessi and Monster Slime on the exact same tiles, the exact same time, encountering the exact same golem. Aramessi got away from his golem a little faster, so he's about a half a floor ahead now, as Monster Slime has to deal with another golem, but a red dragon might hold up Aramessi a little bit. They're not scary, they're not likely to kill him, but they're going to hold him up.
And a question in the chat about the flags. Yeah, so this is the Threes Company flag set. So it has an alternate winning condition. Of course, you can win by defeating the Dragon Lord. But alternatively, if you pick up the princess and then take her to the bottom of Charlotte Castle to the Dragon Lord and accept his offer to rule the world by his side, instead of the game ending at that point, the game ends in the good way in that you win. So it's an alternate way to play the game. It really changes up the way that our runners approach and their strategy. So we are coming towards the end of it. So hopefully we'll see our first Threes Company in just a moment as Monsieur Slime and Aramessi are neck and neck for the 1-2 finish.
Yeah, I was going to say, Monsieur Slime built up about a 1-floor lead because Aramessi had a tough star room. But Monster Slime gets held up a touch by a red dragon. Now it's back down to maybe half a floor or so. This could just come down to who lands that stop spell on that red dragon first. We still have no idea if that's going to work, how long it's going to take for that to work. It might come down to stop spell luck at the end.
Of course, this flag set also having the repel in caves working. So repel spell does work in caves as well as on the overworld. So that's why we see Aramessi casting that just a moment ago.
Yeah, and Aramessi will be able to repel things like these werewolves that Monsieur Slime is running into. They don't take a lot of time, but, I mean, no encounter is a lot faster than...
As a Dragon Warrior 4 runner, I can very much concur with no encounters is so much better than the tons of encounters that seems to happen when you're going in crunch mode.
Oh my gosh, if I could hit hurt more than the Dragon Lord, like I could triple run fail, you would not. I'd never ever lose one of these. Monsieur Slime way ahead here, but Red Dragon, that's going to hold him up a bit and give Aramessi a chance to catch up. They are really neck and neck. I think it's just going to come down to stop spell. Maybe it'll come down to who types done first. That might be that.
As the Axe Knight slows down Aramessi, we've...
Oh, Aramessi not going for the... There you go. Oh, not going for the stop spell? Oh, no MP on Aramessi's side. Oh no. Monsieur Slime lands the stop spell, and this red dragon is going to go down quick.
That is probably going to make the difference as well. So we'll see how it works out for our runners, though. Aramessi a little bit confused, throwing the command there, not sure where to go.
Yeah, I'll admit, I'm a little confused too. I was watching his dive, of course, and it didn't seem like he used that much MP, but it's gone, isn't it?
It most certainly is. And get out your GGs, folks.
Whoa! But Aramessi still takes out the red dragon anyway. He's gonna get second place, but
neck
wow.
and neck. A fantastic finish. Monsieur Slime finishing with an official time of 1 hour, 13 minutes, and 43 seconds.
Yeah, Aramessi clocking in a 1:14:02. That's a 19-second difference, and I'm more impressed. Aramessi, I think, same thing. When he saw he had no MP, I thought he figured he was done, and he just sliced through that red dragon, and that was an impressive finish there. He's gonna get he'll be sad he didn't get the win, but I mean 3 points is gonna help his position in the standings a lot.
Absolutely. Meanwhile, we do have Diabetes the Second is in the Dragon Lord's treasury at the bottom floor, and
Hello, guys.
hopefully we can. Oh, hello. Welcome, Monsieur Slime.
No,
Good
I'm
game. Good
Aramessi.
game. Oh, welcome Aramessi. Welcome Aramessi and Monsieur Slime. You're both in here. Good game, both of you guys. A fantastically close finish. Please tell us what you thought about that.
That was a nice seed.
Yeah, it wasn't too bad. I made the decision just based on the number of points I had that I was going to try and play this a little bit riskier than normal. I don't know that it ended up necessarily playing out that way. But unfortunately, I feel like this could have been done a lot faster if I would have found either Grave or Mountain earlier than I did to get that gold grind done. But that had to be exciting to watch. That was a really close finish.
Yeah, at one point, you two were, of course, diving Sharlock at the same time with the princess. At one point on the second floor, I believe, you both were on the exact same tile and got an encounter and got the same encounter. It was literally synced up. It was very impressive to watch.
So, did anybody find the armor?
Not here.
Nobody found the armor. I believe it was either the Overworld tile or the Hawksness tile, I think, are the only things that were not turned up.
Yeah, I didn't check Hawksness after I noped out of it.
So, Aramessi, I gotta ask, during that last red dragon fight, when you got down there and I saw that you were trying to cast the stop spell and there was the 0 MP, what was going through your head at that point?
I was wondering whether I was going to kill it or get killed.
It was absolutely a kill or be killed situation, and you did come out on top on that one, yeah.
Yeah, I got lucky the second time.
Just to interrupt for a second here, Diabetes did land his stop spell on his red dragon, killed the red dragon. He got his disco ball, his hot tub, his new curtains, and it looked like he was trailing our two, but in reality, he was that 2.5 minutes behind his all. Very close finish for our top.
Absolutely, and Viralis is also at that critical level 12 and making his dive into the bottom of Sharlock, so we should see all of our runners finishing short of something unfortunate happening within probably a good 5 or 6 minutes of each other.
I'd be curious, what builds did everyone go with? I feel like I went a little bit rogue, but I didn't get to watch much this week. I went with the MP agility build.
I went with strength agility.
Honestly, there hasn't been a whole lot of consensus on builds. I think some people are preferring agility MP, strength agility. Some people like the HP MP. We've seen it across the board, really.
Yeah, I think they have their own advantages. I personally kind of like the agility MP build here, kind of the idea of having like the extra heal more and the extra run ability going down in the dive. But that's also because I don't like looking for the armor, so.
Well, I didn't feel like hunting it down either.
Yeah, that was the other sort of question we always have in these is your feelings in the armor, but I think you guys both made it clear. You didn't really spend a whole lot of time looking for it. I mean, of course, you looked through Mountain and Grave as always, but it wasn't like there was any big, long, prolonged search for the armor. So you both just decided you didn't really need it and we're going to die without it. It obviously worked out.
Yeah, I think, again, just with only having 7 points coming into today, I knew I had to roll the dice here a little bit, and if it wasn't somewhere easy, my mind from the beginning was just letting it go.
Well, that definitely paid out for you, clinching away the win. So, yeah, well played. All of our runners. In fact, Viralis now coming up against that red dragon. He has landed the stop spell, so we should see our fourth runner finishing in just a moment.
As a slight aside, too, the red dragon had no stop spell resistance, so I was wondering if stop spell RNG would play a role in this race. It would not have because there was no stop spell resistance at all. You were guaranteed to hit stop spell on the red.
Yeah, that was the one thing I was a little bit worried about heading into the finish, but yeah, it worked.
Yeah, that was actually my first time actually trying to kill one of those things. So I didn't know about the stop spell until it heal more.
Yeah, I think my one encounter with one in Hawksness, I hit it down pretty far, and then it hit to heal more, so I knew what I had to do right away, but I'd never actually tried to...
Yeah, we're joined now by Diabetes, and I was just about to say, Diabetes was one who was really aggressive. He was going on level 8 or 9, I believe, and well, the obvious question, I think we know the answer, but not nice to see that heal more on that red dragon. And Vraylus is here too. Same thing for him. He dove really early and got the bad news as well.
Yeah, screw that guy. That was not nice.
Yeah. Sigh, GG to everybody. Feeling kind of bad.
Yeah, I really should have ground out stop spell after if he didn't have heal more, I would have won that 40 minutes or so, I think.
Yeah, I think I died right before the red dragon at 41 minutes the first time. So, and that was level 9?
Yeah, it was level 8, and I had him down to heal. I had the spike tile dragon. He hit heal more, and I got him there a few times before I actually died all the way. But yeah, if he didn't have heal more, if I got a crit after my second hit at any one of those times, I could have gotten through.
Yeah, Diabetes, both you and Vraylus went pretty early, pretty aggressive on your first dives, and it was working out. You both made it to the spike tile, but got the bad news about that heal more. It was the only thing that stopped you.
Absolutely. And you all did run a fantastic race. Again, all finishing within about 6 minutes of each other. So, I mean, it was really anybody's run. So a fantastic thing to watch.
Did anybody find a good grind spot in particular for those last couple of levels? I kind of struggled and ended up...
Stone Men.
Wizards and Sherlock are pretty decent after you got if you had the silver shield and full plate.
Fair enough. I think I did. I had never dove the grave, so I, after dying the first time, decided, well, I don't have outside, so it's going to be a time investment. But if I can find the armor or sword there, sure. I need to fight stuff anyway.
Yeah, I think the consensus was that Stoneman and Swamp. I think there was one point during the race we had 3 on there. I don't think we ever had 4 on there, but I think we had 3 on there at various points in the race.
That wouldn't surprise me.
Yeah,
I mean, given the
trying not to grind
choice
them.
between Stoneman and what sounds like a red dragon, I think I'll take a Stoneman any day of the week.
Well, those red dragons were looking really good at start when we saw the hurt spell. The first time we had seen red dragon, but then that heal more right at the end just threw all hopes away. So it was interesting watching you all try to deal with that, especially once you came across him at the spike tile at the end of Charlotte. It was interesting because each of you kind of had different knowledge about what that dragon entailed. I think Diabetes was the only one that had seen the heal more prior to going into Charlock. So it was interesting because you like noped right out at that point. Actually, Varelus and Diabetes, you were both like fighting them almost right at the same time. And Diabetes, you noped right out of it and started grinding a little more, whereas Varelus tried to fight him and take him down and obviously wasn't successful at that early level.
Yeah, I backed out because I knew the heal more was there. I was one encounter away from getting a level. I think it was 10 at the time, and found out that werewolves had sleep, and that ended that. So I never even got the opportunity to try. So you could always fish for a crit and you'd finish 25 minutes earlier, but what's done is done.
Yeah, I was fishing for a crit 3 or 4 times, I think. That was a bit excessive.
Yeah, we did see a few critical fails where the crit wasn't enough and was answered with a heal more. I saw that happen on a few screens.
Yeah, that happened to me in Hawksness.
So Diabetes, we do have a question from Tilo in chat here.
I'm
Of that
assuming it's the
death
death necklace.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. That would be the result of using the fairy flute, which was on the bottom of my inventory like 30 times, happening to pick up the death necklace in the grave, and then when I redove, I was just in fast menu mode. I definitely made a lot of careless mistakes toward the end because I was getting a little tilty, so that was a mistake. I also died after saving the princess, just on the stone man running away afterwards because I forgot to heal more before I went into the battle because I was so excited about stop spell. So that actually, despite everything, might have cost me the last 2 minutes that would have been required to sneak a victory out of this one. So.
If it makes you feel better, I once thought when I was one of my Sherlock dives, I thought I was at full hit points when I wasn't, and died to the shot tiles.
Oh gosh, yeah, been there. Miscounting, thinking it's 10 instead of 15, and taking one too many steps. That's unfortunate.
Yeah, I think we all kind of saw, especially when you fairy fluted right afterwards, what happened. But the good news, like you knew that stop spell was there. You had plenty of stats, so it was something that we didn't think was going to hurt you, and didn't end up hurting you. The death necklace, anyway, might have actually helped you kill that red dragon a little faster.
I thought about it. I thought about that afterwards. It actually made the dive down, I think, a lot more risky, because one thing it did is that it brought my HP down to like 57. And there are at least a couple of enemies with hurt more. And without the armor, it's doing more than half your damage every time. I think I had to run from at least 3 green dragons with like 15 or 20 HP, knowing that either a physical potentially or definitely a hurt more is going to take me out and have to start all over. And can't heal at the castle, can't go get the princess, so I'd have to trek to Breckenridge to take the thing off. Yeah, that was potentially disastrous, but it's all good. It's a big brain play. That's what it was. Forget all the things I just said. Big brain.
Well, speaking of big brains, I was contemplating whether or not any of our runners would put on the death necklace to try to get just a little bit more damage to out battle that red dragon. So, I agree. That was a very big brain play.
Sure. Let's say that.
I think I said we've all been there before. I think the one time I did it it was a while back, the pickup race or something, I accidentally put the curse belt on and ended up finishing like 45 minutes behind Nestcard or something like that. I think he did a whole nother seed while he was waiting for me to finish. So yeah, we've all been there. We've all. Monsieur Slime, the big stick, Erdrick Sword was in the treasury, in the Sharlock treasury.
Yeah, I saw the stick, and I was hoping that it had its counterpart at the same time there.
Did we find Erdrick's armor? I think I had it narrowed down to either of the 2 search tiles on the map or in Hawksness.
Yeah, so that was one of the things I was going to ask about, was that it was narrowed down to that. After, with all the streams we saw everything but the overworld search spot in Hawksness. I was kind of curious if anyone, after picking up Stop Spell, would take a quick little detour down to Hawksness. The Red Dragon, very killable with Stop Spell, and see if the armor was there. But all of you had made it down to the bottom by then, so you kind of knew you didn't really need the armor to get there, and you all just went and won. So.
Yeah, and having almost 100 MP without an MP build, making it down there. I think first time I went in there with 40 MP and I made it to the bottoms.
Yeah, aside from the spike tile, that was a pretty forgiving Sharlock, actually.
Yeah, I think there was one zone with armored knights, which could be a problem, and then the bottom zone had red dragons. But you don't need
Both
to fight
the
them.
middle and bottom zones had red dragons. I ran into one.
Unfortunately, the red dragons did have hurt, so they weren't too bad if you weren't actually trying to kill them. And there were lots of golems on the top 2 floors, which we saw fairy flutes left and right going down there. So all in all, a pretty forgiving Sharlock, at least in terms of being able to conserve resources down to the bottom. just that final heal more spell. It was a lot of fun watching you guys deal with that.
So wrapping this seat up, looking ahead to next week, I think the way these all the finishes went here, you all are going to be very similar points wise here. And with next week being a position round, we might see some rematches. Maybe some of you might end up in the same group. Maybe many of you might end up in the same group. Any feelings towards next week? What you're looking ahead towards? All of you are going to be kind of right in that like mushy 15 to 18 sort of area, right in the middle of that playoff hunt.
I don't know. I'm a little surprised. Even with 2 losses there, I'm even remotely in contention. So it'll be interesting.
Yep, that's going to be very interesting.
Well, I was feeling great after 2 weeks, and then weeks 3 and 4 happened. So, I mean, it'll kind of work its way out. I think the tough thing is because it is seeded. If we're all in that same grouping, it may be that the top 2 advance and the bottom 2 just don't. So it's actually interesting to see, just based on, because it's a ranked race next week.
And of course, next week, bringing back the more standard Beat the Dragon Lord win conditions, as well as the old-fashioned vanilla maps. So yet another way to play the Dragon Warrior Randomizer. Of course, this league featuring many different flag sets and ways to play the game. So I think we're all looking forward to next week. Have we anything else anybody else would like to say before we close ourselves out?
Don't be greedy, kids.
Fish for crits and everything will be okay, maybe, or probably not.
Yeah, I had my one super lucky win this tournament. I should probably give up the chances for other ones.
All right. Well, you've been watching the Dragon Warrior Randomizer League 2020 tournament on Randomania. If you enjoyed this stream and you enjoy these kinds of things, please give a follow to our runners, Diabetes II, Aramessi, Veralis, Monsieur Slime, as well as the folks in the background making all of this stuff happen. We've got our restreamer, Lord of the Synth, as well as our stat trackers, Centroid41 and Melee Wizard. I'm Velu V. With me in the commentator booth is RyGuy3745. And everybody have a fantastic night. And we'll see you at the next race.